Friends and CCC members, good evening to all of you. I'm delighted to be here this evening to celebrate with you the 50th anniversary of the CCCs. Singapore's Golden Jubilee is also the jubilee of our PA grassroots movement. And we can be very proud of the grassroots network that we have today. 1,800 grassroots organizations, almost 40,000 grassroots leaders. Our grassroots movement is the envy of many visitors of many countries. We show visiting officials from other countries. They come from China, they come from India, they come from the developed countries. We take them to our constituencies. We take them to our ground. We show them our CCs, our branches. We show them how our grassroots operate. And invariably, they are fascinated and they are impressed. And they are amazed because they find out that this whole thing is run depending on volunteers. Volunteers who commit an enormous amount of time and effort serving residents, building the community purely out of a sense of service. So thank you all for your hard work and your contributions. The CCCs, the Citizens Consultative Committees, have been an important core part of our grassroots network ever since independence. The origin started before independence. In fact, in 1964, in fact, even before that, when we had the campaign, Battle for Merger, and we formed goodwill committees all over Singapore in order to arrange for Mr. Lee Kuan Yew's Fang Wen, his visits to all the constituencies. And the committees were formed not only to organize a visit, but also to get things done, to decide what is necessary to ask the government to put up street lights, water, CCs, all the amenities which we take for granted today, which we didn't have. And these welcome committees were the nucleus. Then we had riots in 1964, communal riots. You saw the videos just now. And after the riots, relations between the races remained tense for quite some time. There was apprehension, there was distrust, and we needed to bring people together to build confidence and harmony over again. So based on the previous welcome committees, we set up the goodwill committees, comprising respected and courageous community leaders to restore peace and to calm tensions. And these goodwill committees became the CCCs. CCCs had a lot to do. They organized activities in every constituency. They oversaw the network of grassroots organizations which grew around them. They raised funds for welfare projects, for bursaries, for poor students. They provided help to the needy and vulnerable. In national emergencies, they came forward in order to provide ground leadership and to organize people. For example, during SARS, they came forward, mustered volunteers, organized temperature taking in all our hawker centers and in public places. So the CCCs worked hard on the ground to bring people together. They also worked hand in hand with the government to support campaigns like Keep Singapore Clean, Campaign Against Dengue, Speak Mandarin campaign, Courtesy campaign. Campaigns which people sometimes laughed at us, but which gradually transform our society into a more caring, a more gracious, a more resilient one. The CCCs help us to explain policies and to get people to support these policies. Policies like national service, which were not so easy to accept at the beginning, or more recent programs like the Pioneer Generation Package or MediShield Life, which benefit people but which are not so easy to understand unless you go face to face and talk to people and explain to them how it can help them with their own direct needs. The CCCs kept a close feel of residents' needs and concerns, fed back to the government what these were, helped the government when it needed to improve policies, change policies, and tackle new problems, which there will always be new problems which will come. So the CCCs have had a very full and meaningful 50 years. And this 50th year, the Jubilee year, I think has been one of the busiest. We've had many events to mark our Golden Jubilee, and in March, when Mr. Lee Kuan Yew passed away, the CCCs and the grassroots organizations worked very hard to set up community tribute sites to enable hundreds of thousands of Singaporeans to pay their last respects to Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, to organize a national response to Mr. Lee's passing, to bring Singaporeans together and identify ourselves. We are Singaporeans together. Even during this last few weeks, with the haze all around us, exceptionally bad this year, our grassroots organizations have been busy helping residents distributing masks and health packs and letting them know where they can go if they need to get help. So I'm very glad that we've done a commemorative book to capture the spirit and the significant contributions of the CCCs over the years. This PA network that you all belong to has become a very important national asset for our nation building. We've got to strengthen the network beyond SG50. The world is changing. Singapore must also change. So as we think about the role of the CCCs, I would put it down to 3 Ps, what we must think about: the purpose, our priorities, and our people. The 3 Ps: purpose, priorities, people. First, our purpose. The purpose of the grassroots movement hasn't really changed in Singapore. We've got to continue to strengthen the fabric of our society, bring people closer together, deepen our sense of community, bond the people to the government, and keep the government close to Singaporeans, and help Singaporeans to understand what the government is trying to do, and help the government to understand what Singaporeans need. Ultimately, this whole grassroots movement is meant to serve people, serve Singaporeans, and we must never forget that. The second P is our priorities. And our priority is, I think, twofold. One, to build a strong network of grassroots organizations within the ward, the CCCs, the RCs, the NCs, the CCMCs, all of our alphabet soup. We have got to make them stronger. Don't necessarily need to add more alphabets to them, but need to add more substance and content and organize meaningful activities and engage residents more intensively and in ways which the residents find relevant and useful to their lives. This is a structure unique to Singapore. Very hard to do elsewhere because other countries, very few other countries are like us, with 80% of our population living in public housing, in communities, in good homes, in neighborhoods where we can bring people together and do things together. In other countries, you have private housing, or sometimes you have slums. If you have public housing, it is not a full community. It's just a place for people to live, often very low, meant for people who are very hard up. But in Singapore, we have stable communities living in HDB towns, and residents are happy to participate in the activities. They have come to expect the grassroots organizations to be there for them, and they are happy to participate in the activities and also willing to serve, to come forward and contribute on the various committees. And this has made all the difference for us to engender a sense of belonging and a sense of rootedness among Singaporeans. So that's one priority. When they ask me, I say, build the grassroots network and keep it strong. But I think there's another priority which a PA ought to pay some attention to, and that is to engage other groups which are not part of the grassroots network in every ward. There are clans, there are arts and culture groups, there are martial arts groups, there are all sorts of youth groups all over the island. In fact, because we don't just make friends with our neighbors, we don't just know one another in our own constituencies. We have friends which are based on our interests. It could be sports, it could be art, it could be so many different things. And we spend time on them, and they are meaningful to us. And the PA ought to reach out to these groups and connect with them, work with them, cooperate with them, understand them, help them to succeed when they are working in line with the national purpose, do projects with them when the projects make sense for both sides. In fact, when the PA was first formed, this was one of its roles, to reach out to all the groups which are there, because the groups were already there and the PA was coming in new. But over the years, the PA has focused more on its own network of grassroots organizations, and I think now the PA should look out again and strengthen its links with these other networks all over Singapore, and partner them to strengthen the links between all these parts of our society with one another and with the government. The third P for the PA must be people. For PA to succeed, we must have good people, people who want to serve, people who will contribute to the communities that we belong to. The HDB can build the towns and estates, but we need the people to make them into communities and homes. We have good grassroots leaders, but we need to induct and groom more, and younger ones too. People who know the ground well, people who can bring different groups and communities together to build one nation, Singapore. This sense that each of us has duties to each other and duties to the nation, I think has been strengthened this year. Strengthened because when Mr. Lee passed away in March, the overwhelming response from Singaporeans reminded everybody that we are all citizens together and that we've come thus far by working together. It's been strengthened because as we have celebrated SG50 and especially around National Day, and we participated in the National Day Parade, we all felt a sense of pride at what we have achieved together. So we should take advantage of this moment to make a special effort to bring in new people into the grassroots. Tap on this sense of pride, identity, and unity among Singaporeans. Induct volunteers into the grassroots. Give them the opportunity to serve. Encourage them to try out their ideas, realize their dreams. Help them develop the skills to lead, to connect with people, and encourage them to innovate, to find creative ways to build communities in Singapore. So those are the 3 Ps. Have your purpose clear, have your priorities clear, have your people developed and strong. The grassroots network has grown enormously in these 5 decades, so we thank you all who have volunteered, who have served, who have helped to strengthen our social fabric. Now, as we enter our next phase, we must chart our new directions together. We have one more major SG50 event to come, and that is the Future of Us exhibition, which will be opening in December at the Gardens by the Bay. The exhibition will launch us into the next chapter of our Singapore story. After the exhibition, we will follow on from there. We will organize focused discussions around the themes of the exhibition. We will explore how we can build our future together. And we are going to involve many people in this exercise. And one important theme which we will study together will be the future of our community. The PA will start a series of conversations on this subject. We will engage our grassroots leaders, as well as Singaporeans in general, to hear your hopes and aspirations for the community. And on this basis, we will have rich inputs which PA can take in and which we can use to develop our Community 2020 Master Plan. So thank you all, advisors, grassroots leaders, volunteers, PA staff, our community partners, both past and present, for all your contributions to the grassroots movement. I hope that as CCC members, you will continue to lead your groups to build a more resilient community and a more caring home. Thank you all, and a very happy SG50 to all of you. Thank you very much.